Brandy Scalacci, a pale-skinned, middle-aged woman with short dark brown hair, is the editor-in-chief of the Medical Humanities journal.
Publication, especially from the academic side of things, is really inaccessible. And we miss things from the Global South, from LGBTQ, from disabled people, from those who are maybe outside of academia but still doing research. So in order to try and solve that problem, the Medical Humanities Journal at BMJ developed Path to Publication as editorial support. And we're really excited to choose itDf as our first instance of this because I think that it represents so much of what we're trying to say and do.
A bird's eye view of the symposium venue in central Leeds. Text on screen. itDf Symposium, Leeds, UK, April 2024. In a bright, airy conference room, chairs are positioned around tables, cabaret style.
Those who are doing disability studies, those who are disabled and who are working at the forefront of technology and research to promote access for disability are frequently also unable to get into print because of all the extra work that goes into making these things possible.
Stuart Murray, a pale-skinned, middle-aged man in a pink shirt, is Professor of English at the University of Leeds. He speaks to camera.
For me, one of the real highlights is the extent to which we've been able to allow the voices of disabled practitioners, creative artists, technology users to be heard, and to see them as researchers, not distinct from the academics who might be at this gathering, but integral to the way in which research is practiced.
Jamie Priest delivers a paper to a crowded conference room.
There's a word we sometimes use across the project, which is mentors. And mentors, I think, gives us a sense of this real reciprocity that we've learned through the project is absolutely integral to the way that we would want to put research next to experience and to kind of gather together all of the different viewpoints that have come to make up what we do.
itDf mentor Jamie Priest is a pale-skinned, middle-aged bearded man with long dark brown hair in a top knot. He speaks to camera while sitting in a powered wheelchair with his communicator in front of him.
I've had severely unclear speech all my life, but I've only had a communication device for 12 years. To say that it has radically changed my life is an understatement.
International music therapist Russ Palmer, a white middle-aged man who uses dark glasses and cochlear implants, attends a conference debate, then speaks to camera alongside two more conference delegates.
For me, technology has had a very big impact on my life. As my vision started to get worse, and then I went blind.
A black and white photograph shows a younger Russ seated beside a grand piano without dark glasses.
And that was a very big learning experience for me, especially when you're using touch screens, because you can't see the screen. So everything you touch, you have to be getting a response from your touch. I didn't really like the technology at all, but now I can't be without it.
Sensory awareness trainer Femke Krijhaar, a white middle-aged woman wearing a colourful patterned jacket, speaks to camera. She uses a cane and cochlear implants.
I'm very enthusiastic about all the developments that take place right now in assistive technology and also how it's intertwined with AI. But then we need to connect to this development all together, really on a societal level. I think we should be very critical about the whole development, but not fearful.
Rosemary Garland-Thompson, a white middle-aged woman with white hair and spectacles, speaks to camera. She is Professor of English and Bioethics at Emory University.
What we want to do is to be intentional in the design, building, making, and distribution of these technologies in the very, very broadest sense, and to think about how we can do it in a way that will be most beneficial for the most people to live and make community together.
I'm Graham Pullin. I'm Professor of Design and Disability at DJ-CAD, the art college at the University of Dundee in Scotland. And it's about how can we change the expectations of all the participants in a conversation.
Sensory awareness trainer Femke Krijhaar works with a young person who touches carved shapes of pottery and wood.
So that there's some kind of middle ground where everyone feels comfortable with each other's different ways of communicating, and that becomes equitable and all voices are equally valued and heard.
Brandy Scilacci.
This is something the public needs to know about. This is something the public wants to hear about. We want to reach other communities for whom this information might be life-changing. And the way to do that is bringing it to the public through things like the MH podcast and the MH blog, neither of which are behind a paywall, because we want the public to see and hear and know that they're not alone in struggling with these issues.
Text on screen, itdfproject.org. mh.bmj.com. Logos. Welcome. Medical Humanities Journal. Institute of Medical Ethics. University of Leeds.